Welcome to this explainer. So, you're buying a car from a private seller in Illinois. That's awesome. But listen up, because a single wrong pen stroke on your title transfer could literally cost you hundreds of dollars or worse, invalidate the entire transaction. Today, we're taking those complex Secretary of State requirements and transforming them into a totally stress-free, step-by-step roadmap. Buying a car in the Prairie State is great, but when you skip the dealership, guess who gets to play the role of the administrator? Yep, you do. Unlike buying from a dealer where they just hand you the paperwork to sign, a private transaction puts the administrative burden squarely on your shoulders. You've got to be ready to pay strict attention to detail.
And we really need to dive into those details right off the bat because having the correct information is absolutely crucial. Seriously, making just an innocent, tiny mistake on these legal documents can bring your entire vehicle registration process to a grinding halt, and it can trigger some pretty sudden financial penalties.
So, here is our agenda for today. We'll run through prep and initial checks, gathering your essential documents, signing the title correctly, understanding the taxes and fees, visiting the SOS office, and finally, pitfalls and final FAQs.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Prep and Initial Checks.
Before anyone signs anything, you have to verify a few things. First, in Illinois, it's actually illegal to transfer a title if there's an active loan on the car. So, you've got to make sure the seller pays off their loan and actually has the physical title in hand, along with an official lien release letter. Now, this letter absolutely needs to be signed, dated, and printed on the lender's official letterhead. Without it, the state basically says, nope, the bank still owns this car.
Now, this brings us to something pretty cool called electronic lien titling, or the ELT system. If the seller's bank uses this program, they just electronically transmit the lien release directly to the state. Then the state automatically handles generating and mailing a clean, physical title to the owner. It's a fantastic modernization that really saves everyone a ton of unnecessary paper shuffling.
Moving right along to Section 2, gathering your essential documents.
Okay, so picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table. Before you even think about heading out the door, you need to gather your bureaucratic infinity stones. You're going to need the original signed title, 2 specific state forms, that's the VSD 190 and the RUT 50, your valid Illinois photo ID, your proof of insurance, and ideally a bill of sale. Oh, and a quick heads up, if the vehicle is under 10 years old, you'll also need an odometer disclosure statement. Now, 2 of those forms trip a lot of people up, so let's break them down. Form VSD 190 is the one that handles the actual administrative title and registration application with the Secretary of State. You have to fill that one out online via the ERT system and print it out. The RUT 50, on the other hand, is completely different. It's exclusively for reporting the private party vehicle use tax. You might have noticed I said a bill of sale is highly recommended. That's because while the state doesn't strictly require it to complete a standard transfer, you absolutely want one attached to your tax filing. It acts as this powerful shield against future audits. If the Illinois Department of Revenue ever decides to question the purchase price you claimed you paid, that bill of sale is your best defense.
All right, let's get into Section 3, signing the title correctly.
This is the moment of truth, where the strict state bureaucracy really kicks into high gear. If you use the wrong color ink, or heaven forbid, try to use whiteout on a mistake, you will instantly void the title. I mean it. You must write neatly, use your full legal birth name, and stick exclusively to black or blue ink. Treat this single piece of paper like it's solid gold. Seriously, if you do make a mistake, do not cross it out. Unless you're planning to go get it officially notarized, the state is going to reject the document outright. Just flip the title over and you'll see specific sections for both the seller and the buyer. Make sure you are meticulously filling out the right fields for the sale date, the selling price, and the odometer reading without a single scratch-out. Okay, on to Section 4, understanding taxes and fees. So, how much is this whole shebang actually going to cost you? Well, your baseline Secretary of State fees are going to vary based on your situation. Just doing a standard title transfer? That's $165. Need to transfer your old plates too? Add $25. But if you need a brand new title and brand new standard plates, you're looking at a total of $316 out of pocket.
But wait, there's a little bit more. Beyond those standard title and plate fees we just talked about, Illinois also slaps on a flat $25 private party transaction fee specifically for these types of sales. So definitely remember to factor that into your final budget.
And if you're a bit of a numbers nerd like me and wonder where exactly those tax dollars are going, here is a fascinating behind-the-scenes breakdown of the Department of Revenue sales tax allocation.
Of that general state tax rate, 80% goes right to the state, 16% to the local level, and 4% to the county. This split is exactly why properly calculating and paying your taxes on that RUT-50 form is so closely scrutinized by different levels of local government.
We are almost there. Section 5, visiting the SOS office.
Here's a critical thing to keep in mind before you head out. You're actually satisfying the requirements of two entirely different state agencies during this one visit. While you're physically handing the title over to the Secretary of State facility, it's actually the Illinois Department of Revenue that mandates that RUT-50 form for your private party tax return.
To make that in-person visit as quick and painless as possible, do yourself a massive favor and prep at home. Use the online electronic registration and title system to pre-fill and print out your VSD 190. You can even set up your MyTax Illinois payment details for the RUT-50 electronically before you even walk through the facility doors. Trust me, the more you prepare at your kitchen table, the faster your visit will be.
Let's wrap things up with Section 6, pitfalls and final FAQs.
We get this question all the time. Can I just do this whole thing online? Well, I wish I had better news for you. While some basic stuff like renewals can totally be done from your couch, first-time title transfers from a private sale almost always demand an in-person visit to an Illinois Secretary of State facility. You just can't do this particular transaction entirely online.
Here's another big one. What if the seller lost the title, or it has huge, crossed-out errors on it? If that document is ruined by whiteout or is just flat-out missing, you have to hit pause. The seller will need to apply for a corrected or duplicate title, which usually costs about $50, before you can legally proceed. Do not ever accept a damaged or heavily altered title from a seller, or you are going to be the one stuck holding the bag.
Of course, state regulations are always evolving, so definitely double-check official sources or consult a legal pro before you finalize your paperwork. If this explainer saved you a headache or a trip to the DMV, please hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below with your own questions or experiences. So grab those forms and uncap that blue ink pen. The only question left is, are you ready to conquer the bureaucracy or will you let the paperwork win?